everyone. I'm Kelsey,
And I'm JPatt.
and you are listening to the Box Officers Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in for season 5. Please be sure to leave us a star rating or review wherever you're listening to this episode.
Watching a bad movie is like witnessing a serious crime, but have no fear, the box officers are here. Each episode, Kelsey, George, and I will review a new movie, and at the end of each episode, we'll classify the film according to the severity of punishment.
Yes, so films can be convicted of either a felony, a misdemeanor, an infraction, or on the rare occasion, found innocent. Now, this season, we wanted to start off with something different. So, we're actually going to be reviewing a documentary called Unknown Number, The High School Catfish. So, if you have not seen it yet, you have to pause this episode because we're going to actually spoil it, and you do not want
Yeah.
to spoil this plot twist. But otherwise, we can get into the episode. So,
Ooh,
with
let's
this
do it.
being our first time, this is our first time reviewing a documentary. So, I think we should kind of review it. Like, did we like the setup? And then afterwards, we can get into like the plot. So, I don't know if you're a big documentary person or not.
It's been a minute since I watched a good documentary.
Yeah, I actually love documentaries, especially true crime. And this was a crime indeed. I wish Georgette was here, which, by the way, you guys, I forgot to mention earlier. She is still with us. She is just not here for this episode, but she will be back later this month. So, Georgie, we love you. And yeah, I feel like she would appreciate a documentary, maybe if it were like history based, but I'm more like true crime, give it to me. And I would say that this was a really good documentary in the sense that it was entertaining. I would
Hmm.
love to add a disclaimer though. This is an actual person's life, you guys. So we just have to be mindful and respectful that our girl Lauren actually went through some mess. And I think it's really
Real
important that,
crazy.
yeah, and as generous as she was with being open about what she went through and how she felt, I think it's also really important to acknowledge like we're entertained, but like her life is not entertainment, if that makes sense. But that being said, like it was directed well, like the storytelling was well, and because of that, that's why that plot twist hit so big in that like last quarter, because it's just like,
Yeah.
whoa, you guys set this up for me to think something else.
Yeah. Has a documentary ever done that? I can't think of a
Um,
documentary I've watched that's been like it's kind of like foreshadowed in a way. Or like you're like looking at you're looking at the perpetrator. Just very yeah.
cannot recall anything where I'm like, y'all are blatantly misleading me. Like this lady, you let her lie to me, and then you're like, psych, she did it. I've never seen anything like that, or nothing comes to mind.
Right.
Um, which is why I was like, that was so unique of them, like storyboard wise.
It was a crazy twist at the end. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely the first type of documentary I've seen do that, where it's like the villain is like sitting in your face. But did you want to just kind of like give like a quick little breakdown?
Yeah, so let's tell you guys what we're even talking about right now. So basically, we're talking about this documentary, and a teen girl and her boyfriend basically face persistent harassment from an unknown number. And so she's getting harassed over the phone, her boyfriend's getting harassed, and the police start investigating for months, almost 2 whole years before
Yeah.
they discover who is the aggressor, and it completely upends everyone's suspicions. I think it's already a unique like situation, so to make it a documentary was really interesting. I almost feel like it's one of those things. I don't know, have you ever seen any like Lifetime movies? I mean, just like turn on the TV, like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I feel like this is one of those stories that would be like a Lifetime movie just because of how absurd it is. And I feel like that's how they kind of carried it. I don't know. Did you feel like it was long enough or too long?
I feel like it was, I guess, based off of my memory of like documentaries I've watched. I feel like it was a good amount, like an hour and a half, and for them to like have so much information and then like so much, so many of the people that were actually involved, to make it an hour and a half or so. Like I feel like that's pretty good. for a
I agree.
documentary. Yeah, yeah. But what do
You
you
know,
feel
because
like?
nowadays they do. I don't know if you've seen any of those. It doesn't even have to be a documentary. Now, Netflix especially, they'll do like 4-part series, latest series, this and
Yeah,
that. And this did not need to be one. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've
I
seen
love
like
when I
YouTube
get the
videos longer than
answers.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, right. And I was like so glad that we got the answer. You kind of get that instant gratification. You don't have to
right.
wait weeks before they release part two or anything, you know? But I guess we can kind of get into the actual plot. Man,
Yeah.
okay.
And this was basically like a teen girl. She wasn't the only one being harassed. Like it was the boyfriend being harassed, friends being harassed, stuff like that. So, the person, I mean, we know who it was, but whoever had the phone was just like so much free time on her hands. I mean, I feel like something like that has happened sometime in my like high school experience or middle school experience. But it was never nothing where it's like,
This is
almost two
insane.
years worth of, yeah, like it was so crazy to the point they were like getting 50 texts in one day. Like she had problems.
I'm like, that's hours of your life,
Yeah.
years off your life.
Yeah.
Did you have an initial suspect, like when you first watched, like before the reveal? Who did you think it was?
I think my initial suspect, not gonna lie, I was a little spoiled when I was doing some research for a TikTok I was making. I was a little
Yeah.
spoiled. Besides who it was, I was just thinking it was just like one of the students. I was really thinking it was
Well,
just
yeah.
some for one, I was thinking it was just gonna be some random girl. And two, I wasn't thinking that they were going to be included in the documentary in a way where they're like sitting down having an interview. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't
I
think
was
any of these people,
yeah.
honestly, I was surprised Lauren was in it because I'm like, this is
Yeah.
traumatizing. I'm like, this is insane. None of you actually should have been in this, like, retelling. The fact that they had these interviews, I don't know how they convinced all these people, like all of them, to be willing to participate. I could see maybe the FBI liaison or like the sheriff, but like the actual people is
Hmm.
crazy, especially when they're children. But I also already knew I had heard about the case like before it was a documentary, like just from hearing about it. So
Really?
when I was at work and my coworkers were like, "Hey, did you see this uh documentary?" I was like, "No." They're like, "Oh, the plot twist is gonna get you." And I was like, "Is this the one where you know who does the crime?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Man, I've already spoiled it for myself." But it was okay because,
Dang.
and that's how you know it's good when you already have spoiled it for yourself and you go back to watch it and it
Hmm.
still shocks you because I already knew who it was, but I still was like jaw dropped because the way she was acting the first hour would make you think.
Right.
I
Yeah.
literally thought, I said, oh, maybe I got my cases confused. I'm a true crime girly for the record. The crime junkies have my heart. Truly, Ashley and Britt. Those are my favorite podcasters, man. But anyways, yeah, that's how you know it's a good documentary. I was rocked. But if I had to say somebody else, I know my mind would have went to the girl, her name was Chloe. And so the
Hmm.
thing about Chloe Wilson is
The other
that
basketball player.
yes, the fact that they looked the message and it's like I scored however many baskets or whatever last night. It was like 12. She scored 12 points or something. And
Yeah.
they look and Chloe Wilson is the one who scored 12 points. And we're like, we got her. The fact that the mom was the basketball coach and so she sent that message knowing that it would frame that other child is
Devious.
truly demented behavior.
Yeah.
That because I was like, oh well, yes, Chloe absolutely must have done it,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and we all would have thought that. And I feel so bad for that girl because even if she was a bully, she did not do this crime. Because I saw people online talking a lot about how she was a bully, and I'm like, what does that have to do with this case? Like, yes, you
Right.
should not bully people, but she also did not cyberbully anyone in this
Mm.
situation, right? She didn't commit a felony. That
I,
was
I think
crazy.
it's crazy that the mom went to those lengths and then at the end had to be like, oh, I was just going through something, you know, or just kind of like
Like, girl,
downplaying it. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah.
the fact that you can see on the body cam footage, she's trying to be like, no, like, what do you
Yeah.
mean by that? Girl, you know exactly what we mean. Are you kidding me? It was weird. I was actually like unsettled. And what your point makes me think of this tweet that I saw. And this person said Lauren's mom constantly hugging and kissing on her after it's revealed she had been the one texting her, telling her to kill herself, and so many other things honestly made my skin crawl. I'm disgusted. Like that
Yeah.
part was crazy, but
And the body
you think
cam
about it.
footage.
Yeah. I was like, get off of her for real. For real. Like, it's not the time.
Yeah. Part of me
She's,
was like, you need to be pushing your mom off you, you know. But I think another part, I guess to put myself in Lauren's shoes, she's kind of just like having her whole little world fall apart. You know, she's like, it can't be my mom, you know. Like
yeah.
what it,
You
and
can't process that in
yeah,
30 seconds.
yeah, 30 seconds. So I don't blame her for just sitting there and taking the hugs and kisses. But it's still crazy that her mom, that was the first thing on her mind to go do it. Like after telling her to kill herself and this and that for however
That
long.
is
Uh,
insane. No
it's insane.
accountability.
Yeah.
And the fact that she said, you guys are going to think I'm the crazy lady.
And yeah, as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, like we know you're the crazy lady. What do you mean?
Yes, maybe I did think that. I'm so sorry. Man, so there were a lot of people in this documentary. I would say, and so I was reading, and E News did like an article on it. And apparently,
Hmm.
to answer our questions about like, how did they get Lauren to do this? Is this okay for her to be doing? Really, like, is it healthy? Is it okay? The director told Variety basically that Lauren ended up really enjoying the experience, and I guess that she was able to kind of look at things with more depth. Every time they asked her a question, she would really have to think about it, and that can be really good for her, you know. And I can see that having that time to reflect and really have someone say, "Hey, Lauren, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Your mom told you to, you know, do this. Your mom did that. How does that make you
Yeah.
feel?" Give her a space to kind of really take some of that in. Also, she's older than when this happened, so I'm sure her thoughts have kind of evolved a little bit than from that raw reaction we saw on the body cam footage. But yeah, I was curious. I'm like, how'd y'all even get these people to agree to that? And for the
Right.
mom, I feel like she agreed because she likes attention. That has to be the reason. That's why she's sending these messages in the first place, in my opinion. Jealousy and like attention seeking. And now y'all gave her a platform
Yes. They
on
gave her a
Netflix
platform.
in front of the whole world.
She's gonna be
I'm like,
feeding it. I mean,
yeah, I was like, was that smart of us? I don't know.
yeah,
I'm like,
that
every
was
serial killer wants a documentary about themselves. Like, you can't give these people a spotlight.
yeah. And
That's
it's
how
not
they
even
get
that.
prison love letters.
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like every crazy guy is gonna be looking for. But and it's not even that. It's like the text messages that she was sending to her daughter looked so, I don't know, it just looked so informal, and it was also so like vulgar and like gross. I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't
insane.
imagine a mom texting like that. And I think one of the guys, I think it was the superintendent or the principal, and he was like, it was enough to make a 45-year-old man blush. Like, what the hell? Like,
It was really bad. And I feel
yeah,
like that's one of the parts that, well, I mean, don't bully your kids, period, right? But that was so inappropriate to bully your girl or to bully your daughter for not being sexually intimate with her boyfriend at the age of 14. Like, are you
yeah,
okay? It raises a question of, and this is something I'm curious your thoughts on. A lot of people think that even though she denied it, she did have she's basically a pedophile. Like you had an inappropriate eye
yeah,
for Owen, which is the boyfriend, right?
yeah. I
Because
was thinking that.
why are you so obsessed with him?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I was thinking that mess because I'm like, okay, but not only are you crazy, if we're looking back at all the messages you've sent, you know, this also makes you like a pedophile. Like the way you're
Literally.
talking about, yeah. You might be acting like you're a teenage girl, but like so do pedophiles, you know? So,
I was like,
yeah.
you're so now you're a bad mom, you're a bully, and
Yeah.
you're a pedophile. Like, yeah, you're going to jail. And I thought the crazy thing about that was that whenever she so of course, and I don't blame Owen and Lauren for this at all when they broke up. Of course, for them to even have handled it for as long as they did, for as well as they did, honestly, so much emotional maturity at that age. Maturity they shouldn't have had to have because they shouldn't have been in the situation, but they handled it so well. So of course when they break up, I don't blame either of them for that. But for Owen to go and get a new girlfriend and you're bullying the new girl, that is insane. This girl is
Right.
states away. That makes me think it's about Owen. If you had just stopped whenever Owen and Lauren broke up, I'd be like, okay, maybe you didn't want your daughter to date, and that's a horrible way to express that. But
Mhm.
no, you were going after this other girl. What's the common denominator? Owen. It's because you wanted that child, and that's scary.
Yeah. And I think she made the excuse. It was either, I feel like it was her. No, it might have been her that made the excuse, but kind of like wanting to, I don't know, protect her daughter or have her daughter to herself or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if it was about your daughter, you wouldn't have been kind of like having a problem with every girl that Owen was dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
T.
And then even
Mm.
even speaking on that, it's a shame because she ruined her and Lauren and Owen's like relationship. And then later on, like near the end of the documentary, you can see Owen. He's like, I'm not sure if I would ever. I don't think I'll ever talk to her again. Or they hadn't been
Yeah.
in contact. And I was like, dang, that's a shame because it seemed like they had a good
Yeah.
relationship. And then
Mm-hmm.
because of all that mess they went through, it ruined it. And now Owen's at the point where he doesn't even want to like have any association with her. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, that's sad. I was a little
Super sad.
disappointed in Owen when he said that, but then at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I guess I would understand, having to go through all of that, and then on top of that, finding out her mom is, some crazy lady. I could see him just being like, no, that's in my past, like I'm done with it. But
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
they were close throughout their whole childhood, weren't they? Like,
Yeah,
so
I
that
think they
sucks.
started dating in middle school and something, and
Yeah.
it's super unfortunate because it's neither of their faults. But I can see Owen also being like, yeah, I actually have to start a new chapter in my life completely. And it's not Lauren's fault, but somebody that did try to make it Lauren's fault, and I thought this was super weird. Chloe Wilson, her parents. Did you catch that when they were like, and there's no
Yeah.
way the dad and her didn't know? What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I did catch that.
that is insane. Now your child can be the victim of this, but there's no way that the actual girl getting bullied is a victim. Like that's insane.
Right.
How are y'all saying that this 15-year-old girl sat there and she said, "Yep, I'm gonna pretend like I don't know that my mommy is telling me to kill myself for 2 years." Like, no, no. And that was really weird and sick of them to turn it like that. Your daughter did not deserve what she went through, but neither did Lauren. So why on earth would you think that if y'all didn't know it was the mom, nobody knew. Why would y'all think that
Hmm.
Lauren knew? That's so weird. That's so weird.
Yeah, they were weird for that. They were weird for that. But I
They
do
were not.
appreciate that. That's one thing I appreciate about the documentary, though. Um, it kind of like captured everybody's perspective, without, it captured the different perspectives. Like it was like super truthful. Like even the perspective
Yeah.
of the actual like villain of the story, it like captured everybody's perspective, even if you agree with them or not. The parents that we just talked about, Chloe's parents, they, in a sense, they were victims of it all, but then you don't have to agree with how they saw it. And then, you get what I'm saying? It's kind of like,
Yeah.
they weren't, I'm trying to find the word. They just weren't soft with any of the information. It wasn't like everybody was on the same page. You have a parent that feels this way. You have some parents that feel that way. You have the actual villain who's like, oh, I was just going through something, blah, 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 blah. But it's the fact that she agreed to be on the documentary. And then you even have the daughter. You can disagree with how the daughter feels. And she's like, I would like to be close to my mom one day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
like, dang, it's a whole complex, like all these different perspectives makes the documentary more complex, basically.
Absolutely.
So
And
sorry
it's
getting that out.
easy to no, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think that it's easy to sit here as somebody who's not going through that and be like, well, girl, cut your mom off. And all these classmates are fake. Because even if they weren't bullying like her in that situation,
Yeah.
there was a lot of things that were messy and wrong just with their age, being in high school. I also worry because I'm like, aren't they all still in school together? That's gotta be difficult for Lauren,
Hmm.
for everybody, really.
Yeah.
That town is too small. I don't know, but some other people that really had to have been going through it were Owen's parents, especially the mother, Jill. Now
Hmm.
she's friends with Kendra. You trust this lady. Y'all are going up there every day, investigating together. And this lady has been, not only is she the one bullying her daughter, she's bullying your son too.
Super crazy.
That's gotta mess with everyone's brain. It makes you think, do I really know anyone? Like, have I ever known a person? Um, and that had to be horrible. And one of the things that I thought was so crazy is when she framed their cousin, when, they took the spotlight off
Yeah,
of Chloe and then they tried to frame her cousin. Cause she was like,
yeah.
there was a picture from inside the house or something, and they were like, the cousin had to have taken it.
Hmm.
But I'm like, that's insane. And that poor girl, because she already said she felt I'm kind of on the outskirts of things. So for her to have to go through that, that was a really sad part. Like her little interview. I felt bad.
But I mean, it was definitely all just premeditated. Because I mean, you're standing beside somebody who's trying to, I guess, help you figure out what's going on, and you're just like, "Oh, it's me the whole time." I feel like she just got a whole, I don't know, she got a kick out of it. I feel like the mom just got a kick out of doing what she was doing, not getting caught, and of course wreaking havoc while she doesn't have a job and paying bills. And I mean, you could put some of that blame on the father too, because it's like you don't know that she doesn't have a job this whole time.
I've been curious about that kind of stuff.
How are you not
If you live
catching
with
your
somebody,
wife? Yeah, how are you not catching your wife doing all of this mess? Because I mean, wasn't Kendra texting at random hours of the day or the night or whatever? I mean, and nobody caught that for 2 years, you know? I get her having the whole
well,
little
that's what
IT
Chloe's parents
job.
were saying.
Yeah, so they had a point in that. I don't necessarily agree with them, but it's kind of like I feel like the father genuinely didn't know though because of how he reacted when the police told him. Because of course they had it on body cam and everything, and I could see just by the
Yeah.
look on his face. Like I've seen that look before, but look on his face, he was kind of like he didn't know how to process it. He wasn't acting along like, oh my gosh, like I have no clue. He was literally like, like dumbfounded. But as
That
a
was
father,
sad too.
yeah, I felt more for him, especially since, they lost the majority of their stuff because she wasn't paying the bills, and I'm like, yeah, I could
Yeah.
I like he was crying, but I feel like the biggest part of the reason he was crying was because all of that stuff that he worked for was just out the window all because his wife decided to act like a teenager for 2 years.
Which is insane. Like,
Yeah.
and someone had tweeted, they were like, that dad was not playing. As soon as he found out, he was calling his in-laws like, come pick up your funky blank daughter. And I was like, yeah. And then my thing is, I think part of his reaction, he was like, y'all need to come get her. Like, yes, because like this is bad. My daughter's here. But I think he was gonna fight that lady. I actually do. Because I think he was so angry. And you could tell he was like, no, you need to leave. And I think
Yeah.
it was more like you need to leave because the second he said something along those lines too, like something about when the sheriff leaves or something. I was like, yeah, girl, pack your bags.
No, yeah, he was
That
saying he didn't
man
want.
is about to
Yeah,
fight you.
yeah, he was like
Yeah.
he doesn't want things to get out of control. So he was like,
Yeah.
he's basically saying you need to get away from me. That's
Yeah.
what he
Because
was.
it absolutely you
Yeah,
bullied my daughter for 2 years. Like
yeah,
we're boxing. Absolutely. And my thing is, there's such an underrated, like, or there's that element of the fact that he is also losing his wife. Like, she lost her mom, but he lost his wife. Like, that's his life partner. And that has to be so jarring to think you know someone to the point of marrying them and then find out that they are bullying this person who is half you and half them, and it's just like the most sickening thing. And it's just like, man, she did a number on them for sure, because that's horrible. And I
hmm,
did kind of get curious about the job thing, because while my thought is he's at work while she's at work, so I don't know what you're doing while I'm at work. I'm assuming you're also going to work. But my thing is, when it came to the money and the bills and the financial stuff, if she's saying she has two jobs, why are y'all not able to pay for anything? But I guess he was saying she handled the finances, and
yeah,
so he didn't know, I guess, that it was just his income carrying them. But I would have thought that he would have asked to check. Can I look at it? Can I look
yeah,
at the
or
budget
that there
or
were
something? I don't know.
or that there would have been like sooner signs, I guess. I mean, it's you can only go so long without another main source of income, if you get what I'm saying. Because you remember
Yeah,
how like they got evicted and then they lost all their stuff, but I
like
think he
three or
was
four
talking to
times.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, at that point, you should be like, okay, she should, like, we've been affording these things for so long because we've both been working. Now stuff isn't being paid for, but I'm working. So one of us isn't working. So it's like, you think he'd take the, go check that out, but I don't know. I guess not. He just really just left it all up to her.
I think it would be hard for me to jump to that conclusion though too, to be fair, if I were married and like things just started going wrong and I don't look at the finances at all, I would probably think like, oh, um something rent must have went up or something. I don't know. I don't know what I would have
Mm,
thought, but I would not have thought that my spouse was lying to my face about going to work. Like that would have just been really hard to digest. You don't assume that the love of your life is a pathological liar. Like that's just not a conclusion you would jump to. But I agree. Like I'm curious if there were other things about her behavior too. I mean, because I know they said their marriage was not like in its best state
mm,
in general during that
yeah,
time. So I'm wondering if some of those things could have clued you in. But again, it's just never gonna cross your mind that your wife is bullying your daughter. It's just not because nobody does that. So for
yeah,
her to
yeah.
do that, she's out of line. Trying to think what other big things happened. And
I
shout
guess
out to my brother Bradley Peter. Shout out to Bradley
Kelsey
Peter,
Peter.
the FBI liaison. Man,
Yeah.
he went in. The sheriff called and said, "We need help." He went in there. A few
He
days
figured
later,
that out
he
by
said,
himself.
"Yeah," he said,
Yeah.
"I got something to tell y'all." He was on the case. He clocked her tea immediately, and the
Yeah.
fact that she still was trying to deny it was insane. Insane.
Yeah. But even he was like, when he found out it was her number, he's like, I'm not even sure how to tell them, because he was like,
Yeah.
that was the last person that he was expecting to pop up. So, shout out to him for basically doing all the work. He just
Hmm.
walked in there with the laptop and walked out pretty much. But yeah, Kendra, her craziness, this one tweet, and I laughed hard at this when I was watching it last night. I'm like, no, this is not the same thing. It says this woman thinks getting a DUI and stalking her own daughter, telling her to kill herself for 2 years is the same thing. And when I listened to that part, I'm like, no, why is she on the documentary? Like, why is she here? She literally laughed.
I was
She was
like,
laughing in my face, cheesing in my face.
literally,
Like, okay, people drive intoxicated. I'm like, okay, sure, but people drive intoxicated, like tipsy, maybe. But you're over here telling your daughter to kill herself for 2 years straight. Like, how does that?
like, I'm like, you bullied your daughter and told her that you were gonna have sex with her boyfriend, basically. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
we're not the same. What?
is
She
not the
she
same.
actually that part that was when I said, yeah, we're too far gone. There's no fixing that. I feel like if you think about it, I wonder what the conversation was. Like I wonder did the director go to her and say, "Okay, the way we were going to do this, we don't want to reveal that it was you until the like third act. So, could you pretend like you didn't do it for the first half of us filming?" Like they had to say something like that because or
They had to.
I don't know,
Yeah,
because she was just asked, we did this, we did that. She was like, the sheriff isn't doing enough, blah, 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 blah. Like the audacity to sit there and say that when you know that you did it,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Because like I
So I
said,
just wonder how they set that up.
yeah, because like I said, I kind of spoiled myself before I watched the movie, and I saw her face. I knew that she was involved in some way. But when I heard her say that, kind of like, I feel like the school didn't do enough, or like the principal didn't do enough, or sheriff or whatever. I was just kind of like, aren't you the one everybody's mad at? And then
Literally.
and then I find out later and I'm like, man, you've been acting like you're innocent this whole time. And then you have the nerve to smile. Like you're like smiling,
Like
like cheesing in my face, like,
laughing,
oh
joking.
my gosh, like everybody makes mistakes. I know, Hannah. Like like what is she yeah. But
That
it
was
was just the fact,
wicked.
yeah, yeah. It was just the fact that she did all of that. I'm not sure what they could have said to her to convince her to just act that way on camera. And I'm like, she needs to go back to the mental hospital. Like, she still got some work to do.
Man, I don't even know if they put her in there. That's what I'm saying. I was like, jail
Heck,
is
yeah.
not enough. I'm sorry. Y'all need to get creative with her because that was the wildest thing. I haven't heard anything that crazy in a long time. And the only reason she stopped, y'all, is because she got caught. That's the most wicked part of it. It's not like it
No, yeah, yeah.
stopped and they kept investigating and they found out. She stopped because she got caught.
She
That is
got caught, yeah.
crazy.
She didn't come out and be like, "I've been doing this. I'm so sorry." She like literally got caught, denied it like 3 times before like folding. I'm like, okay, she
And
folded.
there's still no accountability. Like she's still
Mm,
not taking accountability fully. She's definitely
no.
making excuses for her behavior. But yeah,
Hey, she got to
overall,
be on.
I mean,
She got to
she
be
got
on
her
Netflix.
Netflix special. Congratulations. I hope everyone's happy. Man, sick. So I know it's different, but we do still have to leave here, finish our business.
Yeah.
What would you rate this movie, this documentary?
I'd rate it. Man, it's a documentary. It's kind of like rating it is a bit different. But I guess for the fact that in my head it's the first documentary to kind of like be like, oh, here's his normal parents. She's actually the villain of the whole story, and she's been acting like a normal parent, but we still got her on the documentary, even though we know like the whole world is gonna hate her for it. I feel like the fact that they pulled that off, I'll give it an innocent because I haven't seen a documentary do that. Honestly, like if it like especially like if it's a true crime documentary, if I'm watching a true crime documentary about I don't know what's a popular true crime one, popular story. You should know. You should be able to fill in the blank for me.
Like Dahmer or like Menendez brothers or,
Okay,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Menendez brothers or Dahmer or whatever. I'm not expecting them. I'm not expecting a documentary to be made about them, and then Dahmer pops up and he's like, "Yeah, that was crazy, right, guys? Like, dang, that was crazy."
Sometimes they do have the person in it in a sense that like, but it's never like they're trying to mislead us. It'll be like, hey,
Yeah,
he did this, he's a killer, but we're gonna let him speak and say what he wants to say.
yeah,
Yeah,
they'll
I
do
agree
that,
with you
but
though that this was
they
like
won't.
y'all
They
lied
won't
to
put
us.
they won't put a twist on it, you know, because they lied
Yeah.
to us at the beginning and then they twisted it up later. I haven't seen that before, so I'll give it an innocent overall. It was a good, enjoyable documentary. I went into it kind of like, oh, it's just another one of those, cyberbullying, whatever things, because I feel like there are multiple Netflix movies and stuff on that type of topic, but you know, it kept my engagement. And it kept my like, okay, who could it really be? You know what I'm saying? It kept my interest, especially with it being like new age technology. I mean, you got Snapchat involved, you have like iMessage, all that type of stuff involved. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what could it,
Hmm.
who could it actually be? Who have we not been introduced into? And then like introduced to, and then an hour into it, you're like, okay, you're the first, like one of the first faces we see at the beginning of the documentary. So it was you all along. Like it was the mom all along. So I like that. I liked that ending. And it was worth the watch. It was good. What would you give it?
I would also rate it innocent because I've seen a few documentaries and I can also say I've never watched one either where y'all are letting me sit here and empathize with
Yeah.
the aggressor and the perpetrator of this crime. And then you're like, and the thing is, even if there's a documentary where they want it to be more of a who done it style, the actual perpetrator is not
Hmm.
lying to me the whole time. It's like you guys are just telling a story without telling me who's guilty. But this time you let that lady look at me and basically it was giving theater. She was talking about these people aren't doing enough. I was so worried for my daughter, but I was always there to
Yeah.
comfort her. You let her actively mislead me and then you're like, psych, it's her. That was a crazy setup. I've not I can't reference anything similar stylistically, I guess. And for that alone, like you're getting your tens. Obviously, the story is horrific, but if you're gonna tell the story, I thought this was really clear to follow. It wasn't too long. It wasn't boring. It was the perfect length to keep me engaged without, seeming. The only thing I would say is that it kind of, because of the way that they let the mom kind of play this pretend role for like an hour straight, you can ask the question of like, is this right? Low key, because like what she did is really wrong and serious. So why would we even sit here and give her a platform to play pretend like that? Like that doesn't.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's right. But if you're talking about like that's my opinion, like justice wise, like I don't think she deserves to speak. But as like a person reviewing a movie, yes, I could say that was interesting. Yes, I could say that that was engaging and a great plot twist, a great
yeah,
use of storytelling and runtime. Like objectively, yes, you did direct well, you know.
yeah.
So I do have to say it was innocent. I'm really glad that you liked it because I know you said that you were not like super into documentaries. So I'm glad that the one we're like kind of putting you on to will probably encourage you to watch more because this was so insane.
This is the first documentary of its type to like catch my interest. So that's why I'm giving it an innocent.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
Y-
This is a way to start season 5. Season 5 of the box officers. We're doing new things. We have documentaries now. Who knows what's next? You know, we can review anything. The world is our
Anything at all.
oyster. We're gonna
You
start
guys won't see it
reviewing
coming.
commercials now. Yeah,
Yes, stay
everyone's
farm,
gonna
stay
be
farm.
so shocked. Are the commercials innocent or not? Like, I don't know. We're just trying new things. We're really excited to be back, and we're not done. Next week, I'm super excited for us to review The Long Walk. We are going to walk the entire time we record, and
Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
no, I'm kidding.
I mean, we
I'm
can.
really excited for that. That would be crazy. You know, they have showings. They had special showings where people had to be on a treadmill, and if you
Yeah.
stopped walking, you got kicked out the theater.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I
yeah,
saw that. I can't wait for that movie.
super
Shoot.
crazy. I know, it's great. I want to know y'all's thoughts on this one for real. Like, we need to have a conversation. This was something we need to discuss. I want to know if
Mhm.
everyone here is on the right side of history. But yeah, we're really excited, and I guess we'll see you next week.
All right, see y'all in the next episode. Peace.